Alright. Alright. I think we are back. Let's hope that it works. This is not a good sign. Maybe my game has crashed. Oh, it could just be taking a while to load. Yep. Okay, looks like we're loading. I hear audio. So, all things considered, this is off to a good start. Now, forgive me for pausing at the beginning of the video, but I just want to go to my channel on my phone and double check that we are in fact getting full screen. This morning I've been playing around with the software and we have got it to work on a recording after changing some stuff, and I just want to check that fix has translated to it working on the live stream. So I'll just have to find my channel. There is another channel on YouTube that's uploading some videos. I have no idea where they're from, but it does look like they have the same channel name as me. Alright, so I'm looking at my stream now and it is looking good. We have full screen, we are ready to go, and I couldn't be more excited to actually get into this, knowing that everything's working as it should. Hopefully we're not getting any frame drops from this, but you know, capturing in native res doesn't seem like a bad idea. Everything seems to be working as intended, so yeah, we're good. We were crafting a bunch of narcotics and that's still happening. We did lose our explorer node buff, which is just a little bit unfortunate. And we're going to need to gather some more wood for these campfires. But that's alright, explorer node buff, not too concerned about losing that. We're going to need to get some metal as well. So we can make a long neck, we'll do that. Get a little bit more of the scope, and we need a little bit more bullets. But yeah, everything's going well, and we are well on our way to potentially moving to our first base location, or at least establishing ourselves with our base location. And we're going to need to grab some more hide at some stage, but this can certainly wait. Alright, so we have APT here at the moment. Not the best one, but that is fine for now. At this stage of the game, I'm certainly more than happy to have 2 PTs. I think 2 PTs would be a lot better, or a lot more useful playing a... Oh, we got some pretty decent stats on this. 405 stamina on a level 152 post-tame. So this was level 100 PT, roughly. Pretty happy with these stats. The health is a bit low, but this is not exactly a battle mount. Only level 63, so I think, you know, seeing as it's the beginning of a new day, day 2, that being said, is not, we're not following the typical day cycle speed of a normal Ark world. We actually have boosted that up so that the days take twice as long to cycle through, and the nights still got the same speed, so that's just a personal preference of mine. I do like playing that way because sometimes you know, without playing with the gamma of the game, you are really limited by what you can do at night time. And sometimes the temperature changes a lot as well, so if I really want to go, let's say, go to the snow and do a little farming run when I get a bit more established, I don't want to basically go there during the day and by the time I get there it's night time and I sort of have to like wait around until it's daylight again before proceeding into the snow. I like to just have a little bit more time to get things done during the day, and it feels a little bit more realistic that the days take a bit longer. So that's how I've decided to set up the playthrough. don't know why I'm harvesting that, but it was just kind of bothering me a little bit, just a bush sticking out at the doorway. Now, I might just go and... Okay, so we've got 53 there and a couple hundred. I think what I'll do is take this new PT over to West Zone 2, and we'll grab all the notes on that island. I have in the past thought about saving some of the Explorer notes for when we get more important tames, but I think the first decent flyer you get can certainly fall into the category of an important tame, and I don't mind getting some levels on it, especially weight and stamina, as it's just going to help us get a little bit more established. We need a good amount of weight on this, because if we do find a Argentavis, I will be making a trap for it, and I certainly want to be able to be able to carry the trap with my PT. So, hello. I think that would be a fairly good idea to be able to
I was ever so glad to see Miss Walker again.
while we have the trap on our bird.
In their own right, but dear Helena is still the only person that I feel comfortable diving into my...
Utah Raptor Prime
should we
is
play
an
the Explorer
incredibly
notes?
aggressive subspecies
I think we
of
can-
Utah Raptor found on the island.
Maybe we can take a little
It
break
tends
for the
to travel
lore.
in small hunting packs, attacking smaller prey with its sharp teeth and enlarged forepaws. When hunting in packs, the pack leader can vocalize a signal that acts as a battle cry. Be prepared to run or fight if you hear the call of the Utah Raptor. The pack will repeat the calls and attack with much greater intensity. One of the faster creatures on the island, Utah Raptor often uses their pack movements to their advantage by swarming around their prey before it can react.
I've never heard a
Large
raptor
curved
roar.
talon on the second toe of this subspecies
I feel like it was
seems
talking about the
particularly
Yeti.
suited for dealing significant damage. Utah Raptor Prime usually kill its prey with numerous slashing and biting attacks in rapid sequence.
Yeah, that's true.
What the Utah Raptor lacks in size, it makes up for in ingenuity. Rather than chase down smaller creatures, Utah Raptor will pounce and pin its prey to the ground, rather than chasing it around.
That's
Despite
crazy,
its
because we didn't
normally
get
aggressive
raptors
nature,
that can pounce and
Utah
pin until
Raptors have
aberration.
become one of the primary combat mounts for roaming bands of raiders, as well as scouts for larger collectives. Those who ride Utah Raptor claim they are difficult to tame, but then fiercely loyal.
No, they're pretty
As
easy
a
to tame.
carnivore, once tamed, they require a steady stream of meat to sustain.
Well, that's no problem at all. Alright, so I think we're going to skip these Explorer Note audios, because, I mean, it's kind of cool to have them, but... alright, yeah, we'll keep them. I think after this one...
Once your fall is complete, stay close to the sanctuaries. Within them, small pockets of life still flourish in an otherwise barren garden. Beyond their spheres of influence, you will find an endless sea of decay, ruled by shadows and death. The first of these sanctuaries,
Probably just grab
is
one
the
more and then we'll
great
go
city.
back to base.
though it is no longer a metropolis, a jungle blooms in its place, and you may find a modicum of shelter within its crumbling walls.
Oh, we didn't even make the spyglass.
The others will be more familiar to you, if only for the towers you'll find at their center. Those are the source of their power. The obelisks.
I actually don't need any.
They are not quite the same as the ones you're familiar with. Not quite as advanced, but that's to be expected. They're an older model. Precursors. Or more aptly, prototypes.
Whoa, was that a 174 Sarko? Okay, I think I'm actually just gonna go and tame that, because that would be insanely useful for like a lot of things. I think it was 174. It could have been 114.
From afar, It's hard to believe that Quetzalcoatlus is one of the largest avians on the island. It shares a similar silhouette with the pteranodon and nests near the absolute highest peaks. Upon closer inspection, though, Quetzalcoatlus is an enormous creature of tremendous power. I find it strange that such a large, imposing beast would be so skittish. Unlike other creatures of its size, it is more likely to flee than fight. I suppose the decision to flee from any trouble keeps the species alive on an island with so many dangerous predators. But then, how does it eat enough to sustain its massive size? Tamed Quetzalcoatlus have a very specific role on the island. Too slow to be an efficient local transport, and too weak to be an effective warbird. The tribes I have encountered tend to employ it as a mass carrier. Quetzalcoatlus is primarily used by these masters of the skies to safely carry vast quantities of supplies and human cargo from one base to another without
Alright. Well, let's try and not to forget that we're playing hardcore. That could be pretty bad. Now, while we have these explorer notes running, I'm going to just make use of that time to gather up some more stuff to make spark powder. And it's not that we need that much spark powder at this stage, it's more just that we do need the metal. And if we're crafting while we have this huge 2000 second exploring result, I think we're going to get a lot of XP out of that, so probably worth doing. Alright, now if we don't have any room in here, which we do, I could pop down another modern vessel. Alright, that's all good to go. Let's make our new boots. We've got our first blueprint of the wipe, we'll say. It's not particularly good, but it's useful, so I'm kind of excited about that. So that's all going. Why is this off? It's out of the we still make the marketers. We have no more spoiled meat. Okay, well, I'll just run and grab some more metal in a second. But now I want to make a spyglass. And we'll go back, I think I'll go back and check the, I'll go back and check that Sarko, because that's probably the next thing. Maybe more metal? I'll do a little bit more metal, why not? And I think if we tame that Sarko, we could probably just do it without a trap. Like, they're not very quick on land. And, as long as there's no raptors nearby, or we don't accidentally run into a zero, we should be fine to just do it on foot. But it feels like such a better gameplay loop when you don't constantly run out of stamina. And I know it's a bit cheap, but I have halved the stamina drain for the player, and I explained it in one of my other streams, but I wouldn't be surprised if people didn't get to that point because I wasn't capturing full screen. But the reasoning behind it is that if you were stranded on a deserted island, I'm thinking you probably would have enough stamina to hit a few rocks or to keep running more than like a minute. At least I think so. So, you know, for the sake of immersion and the realism, we're actually going to increase the stamina that we have artificially by reducing the stamina drain, and it's like, yeah, it's going to be helpful, but I also think it's not game breaking, and it doesn't really like break the story too much, because it's like a believable adjustment. You only have to look at tribes of people, you know, those uncontacted tribes that live in the Amazon, to realize that people really can run for hours without even breaking a sweat. And if that's how they've lived their entire lives, then it becomes totally normal for them, and it's not even a feat. It's pretty normal. So, alright, we got the spyglass. Let's go and check that circuit. I will probably bring some narcotics with us. That's probably enough. I'll just take all of them. And bring what we have here, and maybe something like that. We'll just make some more arrows. And I'm going to repair the crossbow. I don't think we need a spare crossbow. No, I don't think we need a spare crossbow. Probably not necessary. Probably not worth even checking white drops, but occasionally they can have saddle BPs for like some very early game dinos, like maybe a raptor saddle BP, which could be quite useful, to be honest. The raptors just feel terrible. Like they're not really that good, but as a good way of traveling and getting, well, reasonably good travel mount, especially for early game. They are a bit weak, and as soon as you get a little bit of weight on them, you're not able to outrun certain things. So they're good for gathering hide, and yeah, they're okay. They just feel really bad with their attack, because when a wild raptor attacks your mount, they attack like 1,000 times a second. They're like just super efficient at getting the clicks down, but then when you're riding the raptor, every second click just doesn't do anything. It's really weird. Oh, it's 114. Okay, so what's it's got 18 points in health, which is pretty good. 23 points in stam, which is actually very good. Melee on it's very low. I'm actually not that bothered to tame it, but I think it would be certainly useful. Well, I guess we're here now. We may as well tame it. So let's park our PC up here, and yeah, I think we'll tame it. Why not? I don't think we need more than 30 tranks to actually get this done, so it's well, that's a miss. Yeah, that's a miss. So we actually move faster if we're strafing than if we're running backwards. It should be good to just continually strafe shoot. Okay, pick that arrow up. Okay. Whoa. Oh, I didn't do that when it went to attack me. This guy should be torporing already. I think he is. Is he out? Nope. Should be out soon though. There it is. Alright, well that was pretty easy, and I was correct about not needing more than 30 arrows. I think even if it was a 174, we might not have needed many more than 30, maybe about 35, 40, possibly. No, probably not even 40. But yeah, we had some extra knocks on us just in case we needed more to knock it out, and I'll be able to find that pretty easily. There's probably only one Sarko here, so I'll just check the levels of the other creatures in the area. I do have a pretty good PT, so I don't think I'm going to need to look for like a breeding pair of PTs. But if for some reason one of them dies, I do have that back up at base. It's just not that good, and having a pair of PTs on a hardcore playthrough is not as useful as you might think. Like in a standard softcore playthrough where you can respawn, it's pretty vital to have a second PT, just because if you do get killed somewhere far away, which you probably will be far away if you get killed on a PT, you can just spawn back at your base and go and use the other PT to try and get your stuff back. Okay, that bug just went straight in the water. Wait, is it? Alright, I think we've seen our first danger or carnival, other than the Sarko that we just tamed. Probably better off using a hatchet to harvest them. Okay, the ramps are quite nice, and a billboard. Actually, no, I'll just take that stuff. We will need a bit of time to make a saddle for our Sarko. What I also just realized is that we need prime meat to tame this Sarko. We could use normal meat, but I'm going to go with prime. The melee on this PT is pretty low, so I think it's probably still a good investment of time to try and tame a high level one, if we can find one that's got better. Like what? Where did that Kano go? Wow, this makes about as much sense as a square cabbage. That's 24. They're always low level. That's probably the worst thing about the island. I do have a mod for it to get like Ragnarok dino levels on the island, but I have not used it really. I haven't looked into how to set it up. So, okay, this makes absolutely no sense at all. Where is this Kano? Okay, it's somehow right here. It's gonna go back to full HP now that it's harvested these two turtles. We can take a hit or two. Yeah, we'll get the weight up to 420. Sounds good. Ooh, trilobite, that's going to be useful. Wait. I should probably harvest that Kono immediately, because compies exist. Or divers. We should be pretty close to having enough chitin to make paste for our Sako saddle when we get it. Alright, that's enough. We'll definitely be getting a Phyomia at some stage, just so we can generate poop. I think that's basically the only thing that they're useful for. So I think the next order of business is probably just to start crafting a little bit of mid brews, and once we've got a stack of about 10 or 20, we can go looking for alright, so that's going to team up immediately, I think. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's decent. Its weight is good. Its melee is pretty bad. So we've got 26 health, 26 weight, 17 melee. Yeah, it's not great, but just for getting around, pretty reasonable. So it's better to have a Sako than not have a Sako, I suppose. Oh, alright. Well. I'm trying not to try to get him. Yeah, nice. That should have given him a couple of levels. So, Sako, are you gonna get stuck on the rocks, or...? For some stam here, and then we'll do the trip back in one go. Alright. Damn, it's a nice looking game. Like, even though it's such an old game, I still think that just the way that everything's put together looks so nice. I think it was actually such a bad move for them to bring out Ark Suvival Ascended. Like, this game still has so much life left in it if it had continued developer support. And what they're doing, the way they're approaching things, is they're just completely ignoring player feedback. They're not listening to the community. Most of the game's support revolves around modders, which are players, fixing the game in ways that they should have done a long time ago. And it's just a real shame that the developers are not on board with listening to player feedback and implementing solutions that would just make the whole experience better for existing players and also new players as well. And the Ark Suvival Ascendant is ignoring the fact that it's a money grab. It's just not very good to divide the player base between two different games. you'd have a lot more activity in either game if they still had official servers. I think that was probably the worst move. Like, yeah, they want people to play the new game, but if they just kept at least like some of the official servers running, I think it would have meant that a lot of players wouldn't turn away from the game. And you get the diehard enthusiasts continuing to play, but me for one, like, I kind of enjoyed having the option to play the Ark servers on Ark Suvival Evolved, and they were good. They were that was actually my favorite cluster. Like, even the PvP servers with custom this, custom that, they were okay, but a lot of them is just stupid because it's just ultra progressing everyone so that they can get tech on day one, and it's really actually not as enjoyable. Like, I remember the days of playing on Arkopocalypse as a solo and like really having to try and grind out different methods of farming XP so that you can get level 100, get heavy turrets down, and that makes it, you know, even when you do get to that point, it just makes it so much harder to get levels. Well, we'll take some smelting paste for Chitin. It makes it so much more rewarding when you have to work for that, as opposed to just like doing a note run and getting level 100 literally before you do anything else. Like, it's a bit bonkers, really. Okay, we got a bunch of spark in here as well. So let's make another. We have no hide. Gonna make another one of the puzzles to make this cementing paste, because we'll need a little bit of stone as well. I think we need more stone than we need China, which is kind of reasonable, I suppose. Yeah, so that's my little rant about the about ASA, and also the developers. I don't think they're approaching the game in a way that builds trust among the community. They certainly shot themselves in the foot in terms of building trust with what they did. And just to make a good comparison, the developers at Grande Gear Games who make PoE 1 and PoE 2, they're awesome. They're bringing out big content, and they're taking some time to decide before the next content what the players' feedback is, and they're not just jumping to conclusions, but they're actually really taking it all in and making changes that benefit the game, not just for the diehards but also for the new players as well, and somehow managed to find a balance in between the two that's not going to tarnish the experience for one group while improving the experience for the other group. So I think, yeah, personally, I think that's a better approach. What are we looking for? Sarko. We probably need some hide as well to make a thing. We can make 17. I think probably going to be stone that we're lacking. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I was really almost upset. I was extremely disappointed when they announced that the official servers were shutting down, because the Arkopocalypse servers was by far my favorite, and at that time I was playing on consoles, so the cheaters was much less of an issue. I do know that after watching some of the YouTubers like Curtis and Rotodirt, that cheaters on Arkopocalypse was just ridiculous. Like, they were blatant, they were zerging, and they were a real problem. And it's not. It's so much worse in a game like this, because you could sometimes be coming back from a raid and you've got all this stuff to get set up for the, you know, a good start in the wipe, and then you just get like multi-headshot from like across, like out, just inside of render distance, and you know, it's kind of bullshit, considering what you lose for that unlucky thing happening. Like, if you were just like 2 minutes earlier or 5 minutes later, you wouldn't have even ran into that situation. Okay, we need a little bit more hide for the Sarko saddle, so I'll just put this stuff away and we'll go and grab that. Okay, we've got 200 hide here. I think we need... Yeah, alright, cool. Probably give the Psycho a bit of a whirl. Could possibly head out to Herbie Island and go and check out what's over there, but I think at this stage, my next moves will be to... health is probably good. More fortitude's probably good too. I think we can go... Actually, I wouldn't mind some crafting skill, because we will be making a lot of structures in our inventory when we decide to build our base. Although our leveling is going to be a little bit slower now, so I think probably between now and 81 we just get our health up to 400, and then I think we've got some spare points to spend. Maybe we could put 5 into crafting skill. I think for a single player journey, having 50% increased crafting speed is going to be pretty nice, especially since we haven't even crafted any of the structures for our new base. At this point I still haven't decided where I'm going to build, so it's always the hardest part of a playthrough. Okay, we don't need that. I think we'll start merging some stuff. Probably not there. I could have picked something easier to try and kill. I think this is that, oh, it's 150, yeah, nice. One thing I wish they implemented in this game was just being able to hold down attack and it would just keep attacking at its normal rate, but I suppose that, I don't know, did they want to make it so that it's like skill based to just sit there and click at the right pace? I mean, I don't think that takes much skill at all once you realize how long it takes for you to attack. And you can just sit there spamming, which will probably get you attacking just as fast as someone timing it perfectly, if not faster. So it's just unnecessary. Like, sometimes it takes a couple of minutes to kill an alpha raptor. Like, why should you have to sit there and just be clicking and burning out your finger just so that you can, you know, farm some XP or potentially get a crossbow? Well, I honestly don't know what to level on this guy, because the melee is so bad that it feels like I'm wasting points upgrading melee. Probably weight. Like, health is fine. As long as I'm not too far from water, I don't need that much health anyway. I think weight's probably going to be the best investment on this, as we do have the highest return on our points spent, but yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to pause the game here and call it an episode. We do have actually 400 seconds left of Explorer notes, so I'll just make use of that, and then we'll probably tie up the episode, and might be on later after I have some lunch. We'll start again from episode 3. I think it's a good point. We made a little bit of progress getting another PT, getting some levels. We've got ourselves a spyglass and a long neck, and I think my plan here is just to spend maybe a little bit longer here preparing bullets, and just making sure that we can defend ourselves somewhat, and we'll venture out and look for another base location just to, you know, proceed into the mid-game somewhat smoothly. We certainly, we do not need this much spark powder, but it's all XP at the end of the day. Make a scope, and we'll make... Oh, that's more than enough bullets. I almost don't want to make that many, but I'll do it. May as well use the gunpowder that we have. Like, we'll never need that much bullets unless we try and kill an alpha raptor or something like that, but not in a big rush. It would be a good idea to do that actually, because they can drop good crossbows, and they can drop good pieces of hide gear, maybe even hide blueprints. I'm not sure about blueprints, but they can drop good hide gear. Do we have spoiled meat anywhere? I guess not. No, not really. Oh, here we go. Oh no, the stack. Oh, what a disaster. Well, I guess we'll do that. Oh, here we go. And then we'll do that. Okay, I don't know how that works, but apparently it did. Anyway, we'll get some plenty of meat on this one. 350 weight, I guess. Damn, up to like 650, I think. Typically, I think if I was playing single player, like not recording, maybe at some stage in the past, I probably would prefer to just have the XP at like 1x or 1.5, maybe 2, but I think that when it's on like 3x and even 2x especially, like if you're playing single player and picking up explorer notes, you just skip through like a whole heap of the early game like way too quickly, and it just becomes sort of like when the progression's too fast, you don't really interact with the systems that like you're supposed to use in the early game, and you just kind of go straight to like from cloth to flak, and like I don't know, it all just feels a little bit too much like you're skipping the nostalgic kind of things that you would do, like riding getting a little dilo pack to help farm hide, or you know, putting down some small crop plots and you know, growing yourself some narco berries. And it really would be worthwhile doing stuff like that if the leveling process was a lot slower, because you'd just be limited by your character power, not having enough points into stats. You'd be searching for any ways that you could to try and get XP. So I think if I was doing maybe like a softcore playthrough, I could do something like that. But then the problem with that is that you do get more length out of your playthrough, but when you get to the very end game stuff, which is basically the part where you've got your dino army already established and now you just need to level them, oh, that can take hours and hours, and you really want to be extra prepared and over leveled in that instance, because if you build up an army and you want to take on the alpha bosses, it would be an absolute disaster if you didn't level them up enough and you lost some of your dinos, or even all of them, and lost all of your gear that you took in. That would be an absolute disaster. So you'd have to then breed up another army, level them again, and I guess the best strategy going into it is to over level everything as much as you can. And if your XP rate is set to 1x, that could just take a tremendously long time to do. And I think it's fair to have the XP a little bit higher on single player, because the server doesn't run in the background when you close your game, it's only while you're playing. So if you were playing on an official server, I guess you could just leave your dinos in base and let them sit out, and they would get levels passively. Not many, but they, you know, you could come back after a couple of days and find that some of them have a level to spend, which would be pretty good. So I'm just thinking about the base that I move into. If I'm going to build a nice base, am I going to come up with my own design, or will I copy a design that I find somewhere? I think I probably want to copy someone, like, just so I might learn some techniques of using S+ to make some cool structures. But I have a pretty reasonable level of building skill. It just always looks like a box with a sloped roof, and I want it to be cozy but practical. So I might have some open areas depending on where we build. Do we need the housing insulation buff or not? If we don't, then I'll probably have an open area so that we can get our Anki like right up next to the forges, and then we can have them next to the smithy, close to the fabricator, that type of stuff. So we'll definitely want plenty of storage area and room for expansion as we start progressing into the higher tier part of the game. Wait, so this is an S+ campfire, and the other ones are simply just campfires. Ooh, that's actually really nice, because if we want to cook a bunch of prime meat, we can do like a lot in one go. So at the new base, I will definitely be using the S+ campfire for sure. Alright, well, we're going to wrap it up here, and just remember to save world, and this will be episode 2. I'll probably start episode 3 sometime later today, so if you want to hang around and watch that would be cool. Alright, see you guys.